Help, you need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help, you need someone, because being self-made is a myth, and we're gonna bust it today. Hello, I am Robbin, and this is Creative Freedom, your dose of empowerment for creative entrepreneurs. This is where can-do inspiration and how-to education collide to help you own your dreams without selling your soul. Forbes just released the 2018 list of America's richest self-made women. And while I get where they're coming from with that title, the reality is that no one is self-made. Not really. If you look at the term in the purest sense, it's impossible to become a millionaire or a billionaire all by yourself. You gotta have customers. On the other hand, if you look at the broad use of the term to become successful through your own efforts, then nearly everyone who's ever lifted a pencil is self-made. So to me, that word has no valuable meaning. None of us just spontaneously appeared on the planet. Someone, somewhere, had a hand in bringing us to life. As I've said many times, we are interdependent beings. We need each other. All of us need someone else to become successful. Unless your definition of success is to do, be, and have everything entirely on your own, which is a lonely life to live, and you probably wouldn't be watching this episode in the first place. Now, there's no doubt that some of these women are a bit more self-reliant or self-sufficient than others. I think there's value in that word, self-reliant, to be able to handle some things on our own. There's a lot we can do on our own or through our own gumption. Some of them, like Oprah, who holds the number 6 spot, started with little more than her education and her determination, while others relied on success with their families or spouses to build their wealth. Regardless, though, the idea of being self-made, to me, is a joke. None of us comes from absolutely nothing. We all have resources and support of some kind. Now, maybe some of us have a lot fewer resources than others, but someone somewhere had to take a chance on us and give us that leg up. If it can happen for these women, it can happen for you too. But you gotta stop trying to do it all yourself. Today, we're gonna look at 2 key areas where every creative entrepreneur needs some support in one way or another. The first is your people support. The other is your environmental support. Support comes in many different forms. I've hired for my personal life as well as for my business. As Jim Collins pointed out in his book, Good to Great, you've got to get the right people on the bus. That doesn't mean you need a jillion people on your bus, just the right ones. And then it doesn't matter where you want to go, those people are going to help you get there. Barbara Hewson, author of the book Overcoming Under-Earning, talks about the different types of people, personal support, that you'll need in your world if you're going to have peace of mind and financial success. Now, this is less about job descriptions and more about roles that need to be filled in order for you to feel fulfilled. Hewson says, quote, "Under-earners tend to either operate in isolation or surround themselves with naysayers, negative people, pessimists, and worrywarts. High earners always surround themselves with people who cheer them on," end quote. Here are the 4 kinds of people Hewson says you need in your circle, regardless of how introverted you are. Number 1, true believers and cheerleaders. One of the reasons I enjoy Adam Sandler movies is that I like to see what Rob Schneider's going to do. He's in just about every one of Sandler's films, and it's because Rob's one of Sandler's best friends. Your true believers or cheerleaders are the folks who see your potential even if you can't right now. I often fill this role for my clients, and sometimes they do it for me. These are the Rob Schneiders of your life. They're the ones telling you, you can do it. Next, we have confidants. These are the folks that you can talk to about whatever is going on. You can be emotionally intimate with them. They provide a judgment-free zone for you to process what's going on for you. We typically give these people a lot of trust and influence in our decision-making process. So this could be a therapist, a counselor, clergy, close friend or family member. These folks are the ones who say, I understand, I see you. And they hold that space for you to step into your greatness. Now, number 3, role models. These folks light the path for you. They show the way, the how, and can often help you cut your learning curve. You may or may not know them personally, but they provide light and inspiration to help you on your journey. Just remember, because no one is perfect, your role model won't be perfect either. That doesn't make what you learn from them any less valuable. We have to be willing to take the good with the bad. Now, that doesn't mean you have to absolve a person of poor behavior just because they're great at something else. It just means that you can value what you get out of their work separate from the person delivering that work. And lastly, messengers. Houston says that these people are often transient in our lives. They may only pass through for a season of your life or intermittently through your life. These are the folks who can help you either through a referral, a connection, an idea, or through some other means that might not have happened had you not met them. I am very lucky that one of my messengers is also one of my friends. Matt and I met doing community theater together, and while we've become friends, we maybe see each other once or twice a year if we're lucky. But Matt was the catalyst that ended up making the Creative Freedom Incubator happen. Matt showed up on my doorstep with a problem. He wanted help building his side hustle so that he could leave his day job. So I drafted a proposal to help him in exchange for a percentage of his sales, which is the core premise of the Creative Freedom Incubator. The next day, he got a pink slip at his job and he never signed the contract. But his need was the catalyst for a program that's now helped dozens of creative entrepreneurs in the last 2 years to make more money doing what they love and enjoy their lives in the process. So, cheerleader, confidant, role model, messenger. You're going to need each of these kinds of people on your journey. That's why I don't believe in the self-made myth. You've got to expand your support universe. Even the most introverted among us needs support and help at different points on the journey of creative entrepreneurship. It pays to expand your support network in ways that work for you and to do it sooner rather than later, that whole dig your well before you're thirsty concept. So who are these people in your world? My support network didn't come from my family. It was school. I had teachers who believed in my skills and abilities. They saw talent that other people waved off or scoffed at. It was those people that did what they could to help nurture me. They said, I see you, I believe in you, you can do this. I've also hired coaches, therapists, and trainers at different stages of my life. Sometimes when those confidants don't show up organically in your life, when you don't have the good fortune of having those relationships personally, it's worth it to make that investment. And when I wasn't able to make that investment, I practically lived at the library. My role models were found in the books I was reading, the learning I was absorbing. And then when social media became a thing, I started following some of them online and started having conversations where I could. It takes effort. And I'm sure that's no surprise to you. It's a kind word when you see them speak, or even sharing their content with your audience when they say something that resonates with you. You'd be surprised how far a gesture like that can take you. It doesn't always move the needle, so I don't recommend doing it just for that sake. So be sincere in your efforts to make connections with people, with any people. Most of them are going to feel flattered and honored. So there's always a place to start here. If you're seeing gaps in your support network, think about who you'd like to help fill that gap and start building that relationship now. Your life will be a whole lot richer in the process. Now, beyond your people support, though, you've also got to have some environmental support. Your environment is critical. Now, it can be virtual or physical, in your home or away. Even if you just have a tiny, teeny little space, you need somewhere that empowers you. A place, a space that fills you up. I call it a sacred space, my sacred money space or my sacred workspace. Size is irrelevant. It's just important that you have it. I knew someone who had a zipper baggie in their glove box. They would sit on their couch or in the checkout line or the drive-thru and crack open their sacred space, holding on to the trinkets or photos or whatever that held meaning for them and helped them hold their focus on what really mattered. This was their environment of empowerment for keeping them motivated and inspired to do what really mattered to them. Now we have online communities that are dedicated to almost everything under the sun. And with sites like meetup.com and other live events like, my annual Creative Freedom live event, perhaps. You've also got in-person options for finding or creating an environment that will help keep you motivated and inspired. Think of it this way. Your environment is like the soil in which you're planting your dreams. The more fertile, the better. Can you grow a plant on stony ground? Sometimes, but it takes a lot more effort, a lot more water, and a lot more patience. There's a rock out west that has a tree growing out of it. And back in the railroad days, train tracks ran on either side of that boulder. And the train engineers would throw a bucket of water on that rock to keep the little sapling hydrated. Luckily for that little sapling, it managed to take root, find a crack in the rock, and keep growing. Now it's this funky looking bonsai tree thing coming out of a rock. So yeah, stony ground can provide you with what you need to grow, but you'll need a lot of luck and help from external sources. The more fertile your environment, the easier it is to grow your dreams and bring them to fruition. Get the help you need. Even the Beatles understood the value of help.
And now my life has changed in so many ways. My independence seems to vanish in the hate. And now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Know that I just need your light, I've never done before.
Who can you connect to? What can you do right now today to make your environment a little bit more fertile for yourself? Truth be told, that's the whole reason I created A Club. Yeah, I wanted to help clients, and a revenue stream is always nice, but ultimately, it was about knowing there was a safe space online where I could go and see people like me working on what really mattered to them. It inspires me to know these folks are out there doing the work, facing the hard stuff, and being themselves in the process. Sometimes I think I get more out of A Club than my clients do. You can learn more about A Club at lisarobinyoung.com/A Club, and I'll put a link in the description so that you can just click and go. So here's your task for the week. Take a look at your gaps in your support. In the Rising Tide member area this week, you'll find a handy dandy support matrix that you can download and start filling in to help get you some clarity on ways to fill the gaps. Not a member yet? Well, what are you waiting for? It's free. When you join, you also get access to the show transcripts and other bonuses that are only available to members of our Rising Tide. Check it out over on the website. If you liked today's episode, you can help us make a bigger impact in the world when you subscribe and share us around with your friends. Be the help that they need to succeed in the world. Next week, we'll be talking about live events and how to know which ones are worth your time and how to get the most out of them. Yes, even if you're an introverted soul. So I hope you'll join me for that next time. And until then, for more inspiration and education to help you own your dreams without selling your soul, come see what's shaking over at lisarobinyoung.com. You know you want to.